The rain was coming down in sheets as I drove home from the office that Tuesday. I am Torin, and until recently I thought I had it all. A good job as a software architect in Seattle, a comfortable home in Bellevue, and a wife, Blythe, who I adored. We'd been married for 15 years, a milestone I'd been planning a surprise party for, a party that now felt like a cruel joke. My age is 46, by the way. The first crack in our seemingly perfect facade appeared a few weeks ago. Blythe, who works as a marketing manager for a local tech firm, started coming home later and later. She blamed it on a new project, a big campaign that required extra hours. I didn't think much of it at first. I've been there myself. Long hours are part of the territory in the tech world. But then her behavior started to change. She became distant, less affectionate. Our conversations dwindled to logistical necessities: who was picking up groceries, who was taking the car in for service. I tried to talk to her about it, but she brushed me off, telling me I was imagining things, that she was just stressed. I wanted to believe her, I really did. But a nagging feeling persisted, a knot of unease that tightened with each passing day. One evening, while Blythe was supposedly at a team-building event, I decided to surprise her at her office. I brought her favorite takeout, hoping to salvage a bit of the connection we seemed to be losing. Her office was dark, the parking lot nearly empty. I called her, but her phone went straight to voicemail. That's odd, I thought. Maybe they were at a restaurant or a bar. I drove around the area, checking the usual spots, but there was no sign of her or her colleagues. Discouraged, I headed home, the takeout growing cold on the passenger seat. As I walked through the door, I noticed Blythe's purse on the kitchen counter. She must have come home to drop it off, I reasoned. But then I saw it, a small, velvet box tucked inside her purse. My heart pounded as I reached for it, my hands trembling. I opened the box. Inside, nestled on a bed of satin, was a diamond pendant, a beautiful, expensive piece of jewelry I knew I hadn't bought her. The blood drained from my face. A wave of nausea washed over me. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. I stumbled back, knocking over a vase on the counter. The sound of shattering glass echoed through the silent house, a fitting soundtrack to the destruction of my world. I didn't sleep that night. I sat in the living room, staring out the window at the rain-soaked streets, the diamond pendant burning a hole in my pocket. I replayed the last few months in my head, searching for clues I'd missed, for signs I'd ignored. How could I have been so blind? The next morning, Blythe came downstairs looking tired but otherwise normal. "Morning," she said, forcing a smile. "How was your night?" I asked, my voice flat. "Fine," she replied. "Just a lot of corporate synergy." I couldn't take it anymore. I pulled the velvet box from my pocket and tossed it onto the table. She froze, her eyes widening in alarm. "What's this?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. "Don't play dumb, Blythe," I said, my voice rising. "I found it in your purse. Where did it come from?" She hesitated for a moment, then launched into a story about a client who had given it to her as a thank you gift. A ludicrous story delivered with a shaky voice and averted eyes. I knew she was lying. "Who is he, Blythe?" I demanded. "Who are you having an affair with?" She denied it at first, of course. She swore she would never do anything to hurt me, that I was the only man she loved. But I pressed her relentlessly until the truth finally came spilling out, a torrent of confessions and excuses. His name was Aldrich, a senior vice president at her company. A married man, a father of two. She claimed it had started as a harmless flirtation, a bit of harmless office banter that had spiraled out of control. She said she regretted it, that it was a mistake. But the pendant, the late nights, the lies, it all painted a very different picture. I asked her how long it had been going on. 6 months, she admitted, her voice cracking with shame. 6 months of lies, of deception, of betrayal. 6 months of me being a fool. I told her to leave. I couldn't stand to look at her. I couldn't bear the thought of sharing a house, a bed, a life with someone who had so callously broken my heart. She packed her bags and left, tears streaming down her face. I watched her drive away, a hollow ache in my chest. The house felt empty, silent. The rain continued to fall, washing away the last vestiges of the life we had built together. In the days that followed, I spiraled into a dark place. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep. I spent hours replaying memories in my head, searching for answers, for explanations. How could someone I loved so deeply, someone I trusted implicitly, be capable of such deceit? I confided in my friend Leland, a divorce lawyer. He wasn't surprised, sadly. "It happens more often than you think, Torin," he said, his voice weary, "especially in this city. High-pressure jobs, long hours, temptation everywhere." He offered to represent me to handle the legal aspects of the divorce. I accepted, grateful for his support. As Leland began to investigate, he uncovered some disturbing information about Aldrich. It turned out he had a history of affairs, of using his position to prey on vulnerable women at the company. He was a serial cheater, a manipulator who thrived on the thrill of the chase. I felt a surge of anger, not just at Blythe, but at Aldrich as well. He had not only betrayed his own wife and children, but he had also destroyed my marriage, my life. I decided I wasn't going to let him get away with it. I wanted him to pay for what he had done. I met with Leland and discussed my options. We decided to gather as much evidence as we could about Aldrich's behavior, both personal and professional. We spoke to former employees, to disgruntled colleagues. We uncovered a pattern of harassment, of intimidation, of abuse of power. Armed with this information, we approached Aldrich's company. We presented them with our findings, threatening to go public if they didn't take action. They launched an internal investigation, and within weeks Aldrich was fired. His reputation ruined, his career in tatters. It wasn't enough, though. It didn't bring back the years I had lost, the trust that had been shattered. But it was a start. As the divorce proceedings dragged on, I learned that Blythe was not the only victim of Aldrich's predatory behavior. Other women had come forward, sharing their stories of harassment and abuse. A class-action lawsuit was filed against Aldrich and his company, seeking damages for the harm they had caused. I testified, sharing my own experience, hoping to help others avoid the pain I had endured. In the end, Blythe got nothing. The court ruled in my favor, granting me full ownership of our house and a significant portion of our assets. She moved out of state, seeking a fresh start, a chance to escape the stigma of her affair. I haven't spoken to her since. I don't know if I ever will. I still think about her sometimes, about the good times we shared, about the dreams we had. But the memories are tainted now, forever overshadowed by the pain of her betrayal. I'm still healing, still learning to trust again. I don't know what the future holds, but I'm determined to move forward, to rebuild my life, to find happiness again. The rain has stopped now. The sun is shining, casting a golden glow on the city. A new day is dawning, a new chapter beginning. It's time to turn the page. A few months after my divorce was finalized, I received an unexpected phone call. It was from Aldrich's wife, Fallon. She thanked me for exposing her husband's behavior. She said she had suspected something was going on for years, but she never had proof. She had divorced Aldrich and was trying to rebuild her life too. We met for coffee a few weeks later. We talked for hours, sharing our stories of betrayal and heartbreak. We found solace in each other's company, a shared understanding of the pain we had both endured. Over time, our friendship deepened. We started spending more time together, exploring the city, trying new restaurants, going to concerts. We laughed, we cried, we supported each other through the difficult days. One evening, as we were walking along the waterfront, Fallon turned to me and smiled. "You know, Torin," she said, "I never thought I would find happiness again after what happened. But you've shown me that it's possible." I smiled back at her. "You've shown me the same thing, Fallon," I said. We stopped and looked at each other for a long moment, a connection forming between us, a spark of hope igniting in the darkness. We leaned in and kissed, a gentle, tentative kiss that spoke volumes. It wasn't a fairy tale ending, but it was a new beginning. A chance to build a new life, a new relationship, based on honesty, trust, and mutual respect. The road ahead wouldn't be easy, but we would face it together, hand in hand. That was 5 years ago. Fallon and I are now happily married, living in a small house on Bainbridge Island. We have 2 dogs and a cat, and we spend our days hiking, gardening, and enjoying the simple things in life. Blythe is still out there somewhere. I don't know where, and I don't care. I've moved on. I've found happiness again. And that's all that matters.